What is up, everyone? Hope everyone has had a great weekend so far. It is Sunday, so Sunday means Sunday workshops. Uh, Today we're gonna continue with our property tax exemptions for the states. We're gonna try to get through the state of Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, and Montana. We're going to try to do the M's for today's session, depending on how long they go and how much information we can find or obtain through each one of these. We will continue to go. Also, keep in mind, as long as you check in, tune in, say what's up, leave a like in the chat, leave a comment in the chat, ask any questions you may have towards what we're looking for property tax exemptions. Like I said, if people have certain questions about certain states, we will try to accommodate and try to do that basically so we can get the information for people that are tuning in. That way we can provide you information as to what your state property tax exemption may be. Keep in mind that not every state is the same. I do this and I say this every single time. Some states offer more than others. I did a little brief run through of the different states and the stuff they had, and some of them offer a lot, some of them don't offer much. Some of them offer stuff for surviving spouses, some offer for children or dependents, some don't. Each state is different. Also keep in mind that we do have those upcoming changes coming to the disability rating for the digestive system. I did a little video yesterday. It's like about an hour or so, an hour and a half, just basically explaining like the different changes. I've seen a lot of different channels speaking on it. I just wanted to do like something that went over the overview of it. Most people just went for the main three objectives, which is the same ones, which is the irritable bowel syndrome, the celiac disease, and hemorrhoids, which is usually the stuff that most service members deal with. That is not the only changes that are happening. There's changes going across for all the digestive system. The link, I can find a link for you guys. I have the document. I just have to get it out there for you, but the digestive system track information is there for you guys to visualize, see, and it gives you an in-depth breakdown of what exactly is changing and how some of these changes occurred. Some of the changes were due to the fact that people saw that the way certain ratings were a bit too general or too broad, I would say. So some of the information was a bit out there, that it wasn't specifying on certain things. Some, it was just like wording was different or used in one way and it's changed to be used in a different way now. Some of the ratings changed where it was a 0% for having it. Now it's changed to 10 or 20%. I believe that's the one with the irritable bowel syndrome that is just changing between that you either get a 10% or 20% now, as compared to before it was a 0 or 20 or something like that. So between those, all that stuff is changing. But anything that has to do with your digestive tract, digestive system, not being able to control when you use the bathroom, stuff like that, that's all being implemented and changed on May 19th of this year. Also want to make sure people understand that don't go off of the information that's being put out to you when it comes to possible changes. Don't go off of possible changes. Wait till the documentation is out there. Wait till you find and have information that solidifies like, hey, yes, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is the changes in writing. There's a lot of issues where we have a lot of veterans that are going to these channels and they're seeing, oh, possible rate increase, possible this. I was like, possibilities are nothing. You can possibly get 100%. You might not. That's basically how you're looking at it. If it's a possibility, there's a possibility it could be wrong or it could be denied. Possible approval, possible denial. You want to be certain when you're doing this. The same way you want to be certain when you're filing your disability claims. You want to be certain what you're doing is in writing. Have it in writing. Have that documentation to back you. With these changes starting on May 19th, that's going to affect a lot of veterans. It's going to affect a lot of veterans in the fact that you're going to get the information you need, and it's going to be in writing and it's going to be concrete. Don't go following, oh yes, this may happen. This how you can get an increase in the next coming year. It's not a certain thing. These laws have to be passed and they have to be signed, and then they have to be updated into the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 38. So keep that in mind when it comes to information being pushed out. Try to find information that is solidified and is actually in writing, so that it better serves you and better serves the people that you're trying to assist with given information. We've been talking about possible changes to sleep apnea, certain mental health ratings for the past year plus now, where they announced it that they were looking into it, but we've still been waiting. And look, we first got the digestive system changes before we got any other changes. So keep that in mind, because that's the stuff that we need to keep in mind with, and we need to pay attention to, because of the fact that, hey, you're getting this information from there. It's from the Code of Federal Regulations. It's not information that somebody just heard or representatives said or a senator said. We have senators and representatives that tend to just say stuff just to, rile people up, just to try to get them motivated, just to try to get them re-elected. But we don't have certain documentation that's pushed through. Like we have the PACT Act. PACT Act was pushed through. That's something that was in writing. That was something that was made for toxic exposure, for serving in certain locations, radiation exposure, burn pits, stuff like that. That was stuff that was created because there was an issue that had been ongoing for a long time, dealing with vets and all that, that was not placed in there. And that's something that we need to keep in mind. All these documents are available for people to find. They're all available for people to read. It's just making sure that you are obtaining it and getting it, and actually taking the time to read the stuff that's going to benefit you in the long run. Getting to 100% is still a process. It's not a one and done. It's not a simplified thing to do, but it's something that we have to look into and take step by step. The same way with these changes, step by step. The same way we're doing these state property exemptions, it's a step-by-step process. We're going through each state and we're finding the information that's there for each one of them, so that we can obtain the proper information when it comes to it. A lot of the information is not straightforward. Some of it comes in laws. Some of it is just through their veteran website. Some have websites within their state that have this information clear as day. And then some of the information that I've found is through a law, I guess a law website, you want to say, that provides the information and actually gives us the exact law where this information is. So we're trying to do that more, so that way people have a direct line and a concrete piece of information to use to benefit them in the long run. Now, all this information is not going to be, how can I say it? It's not going to be an all-inclusive thing in the way that I'm finding this information, but there may be other questions that arise from this information that you're looking into. So like I said, most of these states have something for a surviving spouse. So if you are a surviving spouse or a widow or a surviving spouse, like I don't even know, what's the name if you're, if the husband passes away? Because if the husband passes away as a widower, what happens if the woman or the wife pass away? What do you call that? I'm not sure what the terminology is there, but they have that for surviving spouses. Some states have it for surviving dependents, meaning that, hey, if a dependent or your children are living in this household when you pass away, they continue to get that exemption as long as they reside in the house. Some places do that, some don't, because, some remarry, some are just single parents. So that's something that you may have to look into within the state and ask a tax representative from your state, probably your H&R Block or your Jackson Hewitt in town, or whoever does taxes. I wouldn't say TurboTax unless they have a specific person that talks to you. I'm not sure. I haven't used TurboTax in a while, but making sure you ask those questions, because this is the front part of the thing. Then you got the fine tune and the fine print at the bottom or within these policies and state. So that's what we got to keep in mind when we're looking at these. We're putting these. I'm trying to find the information. So let's get started. First state up for this iteration of the thing is the state of Michigan. Yes, we're starting off with Michigan today. So let's change over. And let's start. We have this here. Hold on 1 second. So this is the state of Michigan. We'll probably zoom in a bit more on this so it could be visible. Oh, hold on. It might not be entirely visible. See if you can see it on mobile because it cuts off there. And I believe you still see it because I see the 7B on there. But that's the information here that we have. So for the state of Michigan, it just recently, it says it got signed into La Pieta of 2013. So this is old. This is 2013. So we'll try to see if we find another one. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me find another one and see if I can find the Michigan property state tax exemption. They have TurboTax. Veteran tax exemption, Michigan. Because I'm looking for it on this Just IA website, which is where we've gotten most of our information from for the workshops. So property for taxation. Exemption. Okay, so we do have this. So what we have here is we have this one. So let me put this on the side for now, because I have to search for veteran on this one. So 17. Okay, so this is better because this one provides you with the actual law that will give you the information. So exemption of real property used and owned as homestead by disabled veteran or individual described in subsection filing of inspection of days, cancellation of taxes, local. To obtain the exemption, an affidavit showing the facts required by this section and description of the real property shall be filed. If a disabled veteran who is otherwise eligible for exemption under this section dies either before or after the exemption under this section is granted, the exemption shall remain available to or shall continue for his or her unremarried surviving spouse. The surviving spouse shall comply with the requirements of subsection and shall indicate an affidavit that he or she is a surviving spouse of a disabled veteran. So basically giving you that information like, yes, like I said, this is for the surviving spouses. It already has that in place. The veteran has been rated by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs as individually unemployable. has been determined by the United States Department of Veteran Affairs to be permanently and totally disabled as a result of military service and entitled to veterans benefits at the 100% rate. So like most, you have to be 100%. So permanent and total or unemployable to receive this. Now, if we go to this one, let's see. As used disabled, the purposes of communication to make assessors aware of this, not to provide some basic guidance. The sales tax commission issue. This exemption is only available to disabled veterans if the veteran has died to their unmarried surviving spouse, disabled veteran for their surviving. Hold on. Sorry. Assessors are advised that eligible disabled veterans will be able to apply for a 2013 exemption at the 2013 Board of Review. An exemption will cancel the July and December 2013 taxes, but will now cancel any taxes levied before 2013. Is exempt, highlight that for you, is exempt from the collection of taxes under this act. So if you are 100% permanent in total or 100% TDIU, you have no property tax levied on your property if you are in the state of Michigan. So that's one of those that it's a benefit for people to get to 100%, whether it's TDIU, which you're getting paid at the 100% because of employability, because of one disability that is probably at a 70% or higher, and you're getting that exemption. 100% PNT, 100% TDIU. Doesn't seem to be any other exemption from there. But like I said, this is the way it's easier to do, because now it's like I have this law which I can put, which most of them I will probably go back for the states that we've already gone through. We will go back and indicate and show like, hey, this is the property tax. This is the actual law that states from this, which is documentation and information that is direct from the source, which is from your law, which won't give you any other answer, or it's a viable source. This is just a U.S. law. It has it for all of it, and it breaks it down. Taxation of real and property. This is definitely a website I would look into if you have any other questions when it comes to other law stuff, when it comes to taxes or other benefits. Some it's vehicle benefits, some it's not vehicle benefits, but this gives you the information that if you are from the state of Michigan, you are totally exempt from property taxes as long as you're 100% PNT, 100%, well, you can only be 100% when it's TDIU. So, but then we have that. So, because this is basically a just script of the law, just like an excerpt that they took, that it's on the veterans benefits on Reddit. Like I said, if you haven't followed them, if you have a Reddit page, make sure to tune into them, because they provide you also with a whole ton of information that is very beneficial, and you can get a lot out of it from there. So make sure to do that. But this was just a little excerpt. So we'll close that. Move this over here and then update this. So copy this link. Edit this here. Property tax exemption. And we have that, and this is for fully exempt if 100% PNT, TDIU. So now you know for the state of Michigan, we have the fully exempt, you are fully exempted as long as you have you have that basically. So you have it as an easier way of looking at it. Your P&T for the state of Michigan. Now let's see if we can find. What did I search for? I searched for Michigan. So now the next state up is Minnesota. So give me 1 second while I look for Minnesota. I have a document already up for Minnesota, but it is just a form. So that's why I try to avoid that, because it's just like the form and it doesn't always give you the information. This is the exclusion document that is provided for the state of Minnesota. But I am trying to see, because sometimes it doesn't say any of it on there, but it does. This one, this form does, but this is the actual official form that you would be filing for the state of Minnesota when it comes to filing for your tax exemption. So the homestead exclusion for a veteran with a disability, this is the form. It is CR-HEV. This is for office use. So you fill out the information. Is this property your homestead? Yes or no. Check all boxes that apply. You must have a U.S. government form DD-214 or other military discharge papers, and must be certified by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs as having a permanent service connection disability of 70% or more, or a service connected disability of 100% total and permanent. So I think this is what leads into that again of permanent and total, or 70% or higher. So who is eligible? You may be eligible for a market value exclusion of up to $150,000 if you are a United States military veteran with a service-connected disability of 70% or more. And then you have a $300,000 if you are a United States military veteran with 100% total and permanent service-connected disability. You must be able to verify honorable discharge from the armed forces and be certified by the VA as having service-connected disability. So this is an application for it. So this is something that would be on the side of it. It's not the same form that you would fill out for the homestead exemption. And it tells you the information. Since you were properly filling out this form, information may be found on the Department of Revenue's website. Okay, so that at least gives you that information where you have the visibility to see this. I believe you're seeing that. Okay. So it looks a bit neater, I guess you could say. But yeah, this is basically there. You have the information now. So now you have property state tax exemptions that are in place for you for the state of Minnesota. So this is just a form, and we'll put that in here, form. So Minnesota. Minnesota state tax exemption form. State veteran tax exemption form. So now we have that for the state of Minnesota. So this one we might be able to go through a couple more states because it seems like it's going to be going a bit quicker, at least for these two. We'll see how the other ones go. But yeah, we're not gonna try to do too long of a stream. We're gonna try to keep it as simple as possible and just try to get people as much information as we can. And I know this topic isn't really important for people when it comes to this, because most people already filed their taxes or are waiting to file their taxes. But that's something that, hey, you got to keep in mind. Like, this is information that is important to you, because it may not be for this year, it might be for the following year that you're filing these taxes. So at least we have that there visualized so you can see it. So for 70% disabled, you get 150,000. Put that comma there. So 150,000, and then 100%. 100% P&T, $300,000. So that at least gives you that information, and now you have that to work with for the state of Minnesota. So now we will go to the next state, which is the state of Mississippi. And like I said, anytime if you're tuning in, checking the stuff out, make sure you leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, see if you have any questions or anything you may need more assistance with. I'll gladly be able to assist as best I can. I'll try to find you or point you in the right direction so that way you have that information to use and it benefits you down the road. And then if you live in one of these states, it's a great opportunity to be able to pass this information down to other veterans, whether it's veterans that you are served with, will be moving to the state or may decide to retire in that state. This is information that benefits them because this information will be out there. We're doing this as a workshop thing, and then individually we will make videos down the road of each specific state. But then now at least we'll have the actual documentation to be able to make this a more straightforward, like, hey, this is the information here. But then also, if y'all do have information and y'all see the stuff that is getting updated or a new law just passed and you guys hear about it, make sure to leave a comment and say, hey, this is old, or somebody's probably going to be rude as shit and be like, man, you got outdated information and stuff. You know how most people do. Instead of just being like, hey, notice this got updated. If you want more information, we got this information for you. Stuff like that. It benefits the channel, benefits any subscribers, benefits any veterans that have this information, that can obtain this information, because we're always trying to keep it up to date. So that's why we do that. I don't have the one's last updated information on here, but that we will probably add into it once we start doing the videos individually, so that we can find when the law was actually created and stuff like that. As we have here with the VA forms, we have them here. We're filling them out as we go, since there's no directory or library of VA forms. We're just filling that out. Same thing, last updated, and what the form is actually dated, so that people can see, like, hey, this was last updated so and so year. This is the information we're using going forward. All right, so now we have the state of Mississippi. Okay, so for this we will go through it, and you can already see service connected. Like I said, most of this information, Mississippi, most of the states we've gone over so far, they don't have a big base, like big, you have your National Guard, which I guess that's the question that comes up is, or a question I have now is, if you're National Guard, are you still able to file this if you're collecting the disability? So I'm not entirely sure how that would work. But basically, you are a service member, or you are a veteran, but you're on, because most of the time it's for, like, they just say veteran, but some National Guard or Reserve, they do have disability payments and they are disabled, but they are still able to serve in the military. So that's a question I basically have, is like, can you do both? Can you file for these exemptions while you're still serving? Because for most of them, it is as a veteran. I have to look and see. We may have to make a whole different section of just like as active duty. what benefits do we have there, so that way that's also a big thing, because a lot of these are exemptions for persons under 65 years of age who are not totally disabled, exemption for person who are over 65 years of age, and persons who are totally disabled. So there's two different things here where it's sometimes age, but it's the veteran criteria which we've been looking at. But we are trying to make sure that we are assisting our active duty personnel, which will become veterans down the road. So that'll be a benefit to them also. Oh, is it, man? So this one looks like it's another exemption, but this is where you have to look into, because it says of this of a home referred to in paragraph A of this subsection shall be exempt from ad valorem taxes in the manner prescribed in section yada 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 yada. So basically, you have to go to these sections in order to find that, because this is 6.7, 6.9. Universal. How would I even look for that? Okay, let's see, because that's why I said this one has it like this. Like I said, some of these come with here, but it's not a direct thing and doesn't give you an exact number. So let's see. Qualified exemptions provided for this in this article because the homeowner must present proper proof. Service-connected total disability as an American veteran who has honorably discharged from military service. Person classification as totally disabled on provisions of retirement plan that is considered to be qualified under the IRS. The determination of whether or not a retirement plan is qualified shall be made by the Department of Revenue. See, so that's why. Need to find this. Because this is 6.7. So I need to find 6.9. Mississippi Code, Title 27. Chapter 33. See, but these are old. So you can see in the tax code, general provisions, but it has it for 86, 87, and 88. Let's see what this one has. See if this has veterans in it. Nope, no veterans in this one. So can't use that. Let's see what this is. Assessed value shall be rounded to the next whole. Qualified owner described in subsection shall be allowed an exemption from ad valorem taxes according to the following table. Assessed value shall be rounded to the next whole dollar, 50 cents, rounded to the next highest dollar for the purpose of the above table. 1/2 of the exemption allowed in the above table shall be from taxes levied for school district purposes, and 1/2 shall be from taxes levied for county general fund purposes. So basically trying to let you know, like, this is where the money will be taken out from these taxes. Qualified homeowners described in subsection 2 of shall be allowed an exemption from all valorem taxes on not in excess of $6,500 of the assessed value of the homestead property. This shall only apply to exemptions claimed in the 1987 calendar year for which reimbursement is made in the 1988 calendar year. 1 through 150 is $6. So this is $5,005. You get $240 and above. Well, it says there's no accuracy on here, but this, you can tell this is older, so we may have to look into. But this is the code it has in there. These are the three basically showing for those three what it was, but it doesn't have any. Let's see, it says value should be rounded, okay. So this is, I guess, the most up-to-date one. Ad valorem taxes, homestead exemptions. So basically, what it's saying is it's $7,500 of the assessed value from and after January 1st, 2015. Qualified owner describing substance shall be allowed an exemption from all valorem tax on the assessed value of the homestead property. Except as otherwise provided in the paragraph, qualified homeowner claiming exemption under paragraph shall be allowed an additional exemption from all ad valorem taxes on an amount equal to the difference between the assessed value of the homestead property. The rest of the year, claims an exemption for the house property resulting in an increase in the assessed value resulting from a subsequent update and valuation of the homestead property that is completed during the time the qualified owner house. That the exemption authorized under this paragraph shall be on an amount equal to the difference between such lower assessed value and any increase in the assessed value of the homestead property resulting from a subsequent update and evaluation. However, except for as otherwise provided in this section shall apply to exemptions claimed in the 2001 year for which provided in subsection of this shall apply to exemptions claimed in 2015 for which subsection shall apply to exemptions claimed 2004. Exemptions claimed for which reimbursements made in subsequent years. So $7,500 is what we're going for. So I will add this one as a comment. Well, no, I'll put this as the link. Miss I Mississippi tax Mississippi state tax exemption. Homestead exemption is here. Then we will go back to this one. So copy this. Make a comment on this one. And this will be exemption for veterans. Totally disabled. And we'll just leave it as totally disabled. Okay, so that one has its comment in there, so we have that there. So we will put it here as P&T only receives 100% if you're 100%, you receive, that's what you receive. Which, like I said, 7,500 isn't the break the bank amount, as you can say, when it comes to that. But that's what we're working with. That's what we have. Can't really say much to that. That's basically what's going on with that. For P&T. All right, so that would be the state of Mississippi. Gives you, if you are permanent and total, you receive a $7,500 tax exemption from your taxes. Now, like I said, this all depends also on your cost of living, what your house is worth, how much taxes you get assessed, because that varies. Like with Minnesota, up to 150,000 or 300,000, depending. That's exempt. So if you have a house worth 350,000, you only paying taxes on that 50,000 kind of thing. So that's why I said each state is different. So you may get more benefits out of one more than the other. So keep that in mind when it comes to doing that. So now we will go to the state of Missouri, neighbor state. This Missouri, yes, this is Missouri. Put that there. Move this over. Okay. This one seems to be first regular session, truly agreed to and fully passed. House Joint Resolution number 15 from the 95th General Assembly in the state of Missouri. Section relating to property tax exemption. Be it resolved by the House of Representatives, the Senate concurring therein, that at the next general election to be held in the state of Missouri on Tuesday next following. All property, real and personal, of the state, counties, and other political subdivisions, the nonprofit cemeteries, and all real property used as a homestead, as defined by law of any citizen of this state who is a former prisoner of war, as defined by law, and who has a total service-connected disability, shall be exempt from taxation. Say that again. Shall be exempt from taxation. Shall be exempt from taxation. But let's keep on reading, because that's how a lot of them started to be like, except for you're not gonna get taxed for it, but then everything else, but you still need these criteria to get there. So that's how a lot of these laws are. They sometimes are not broken down that way, so that's why we got to make sure to read the stuff. Shall be exempt from taxation. All personal property held as industrial inventories, including raw materials, work in progress, and finished work on hand, by manufacturers and refiners, and all property held as goods, wares, merchandise, stocking, trade, or inventory for resale by distributors, wholesalers, or retail merchants. Or establishments shall be exempt from taxation, and all property and real and personal not held for private or corporate profit, used exclusively for religious worship, for schools and colleges for purposes of charitable, or for veterans or organizations may be exempted from taxation by the general law. In addition to above, household goods, furniture owned and used by personal homes, dwelling place may be exempt from taxation by general law, but any such law may provide for appropriate restitution to the respective political subdivisions of revenue lost by reasons of the exemption. All laws exempt you from tax property other than property enumerated in this article shall be void. Personal part of manufacturers, all revenues lost because of the exemption of certain properties shall be replaced to each taxing authority within a county from a county-wide tax hereby imposed on all property subclass 3 of exemption becomes effective. So yeah, you have to be 100%. 100% or a prisoner of war. All real property used by a homestead as defined by the law of any citizen of this state who is a former prisoner of war as defined by law and who has a total service connected disability, basically meaning you are 100%. So in here lies the question with the state of Missouri, does that count TDIU, which isn't built into the law. So that's why, like I said, some of these laws have specific things in there, but then they leave out certain things. So for the state of Missouri, so if you are Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood, I know at least for the military, for Joint Base, Fort Leonard Wood, I went through there for my AIT. I know others go through there. When it comes to chemical training, they go through Fort Leonard Wood. So I know for a fact that there's a lot of people that do reside and get out of the military and go back to the state of Missouri. Or basically they still live there. They bought a house there while they were there. But thing is it's for most of these it's like homestead. A place where you actually reside in, not a place that you're renting out. It's a place that you actually reside in. So that's where it gets tricky when it comes to filing those taxes. Because the thing is you may not be able to get that information through there. But for the state of Missouri, you pay no taxes if you are a prisoner of war or you are 100% P&T. Now, that does not include TDIU, at least for now. I'm not sure. That's something we'd have to ask the state of Missouri to clarify that information, or somebody from the state of Missouri that's actually there would be able to verify that. If you are TDIU, does that count as 100%, or do you have to be permanent and total in order to obtain the tax exemption? So that's something that, like I said, those are questions that arise from the states. So this would be, so like I said, not each state is created equal. Not each state has the same benefits, but at least with this one, it gives you that information that it shows like, hey, you are total exemption as long as you were a prisoner of war or you are 100%. Question is for personnel that live in the state of Missouri, go and find out if that means that you receive 100% because of TDIU also. Might not be the case, might be the case. Don't know at that instance, but that's something to look into also. Let's get this link, put this on here. We have it. So Missouri. Exemption law. And this would be 100% if prisoner of war, which, like I said, I'll put a legend on here. I got to figure out how, if we do like a floating legend that always shows up. I'm not sure if you could do that on Excel. I have to see if we can, but 100% if you are a prisoner of war, and then 100% if you are, let me change that, because if somebody reads it's going to be 100% if POW and P&T. So 100% POW, and then 100% if P&T. So that way it's clarified like, hey, you have the ability to get 100% removed if you are at 100%, and that way. So you have it in both ways in that manner. So 100% POW and 100% P&T. There's not many POWs left around that I'm tracking. We haven't had one of those major wars like that. Like, even though Afghanistan are just like being removed lately, POWs wasn't a big thing in those wars as compared to like Vietnam and issues like that. So we still have that, but that's, like I said, this is stuff that we need to get together as veterans within these states and put something together and try to get with Congress or your representative and work it the way up so we can make changes and updates to this so it's a more generalized information for all of them. Like I think that would be something one of these senators or representatives in the committee, in the House and Senate committees, I think should start proposing a bill that would do something like this, that at least makes certain things across the board, every state in the country, exempt. So like if it's 100% PNT, that's a big benefit. If you become 100% PNT from a state and you're fully exempt from property taxes, that's a benefit that people would take advantage of. And it's like you lure more people into your state for that if they're a veteran, because of the fact that, hey, I know if I move into this state, I'm gonna be 100% PNT, and I'm not gonna pay any property tax on the thing. You're still getting money off of paying the thing. You're still having that person reside there, and that usually I would say gives a boost to any economy with the fact that you have a veteran that doesn't have to. Hey, if that's an extra like 10 grand a year that somebody gets in their pocket, that's 10 grand a year that they will most likely have some sort of money spent into that state, whether excise tax or some sort of tax or something. The money will probably, a lot of it will go back into that state. So that's a benefit that they need to understand. Even though property tax is something that they go off of to do that, but you still have, the economy still works better, and you still have people actually joining the military, which, as we can see in here, isn't very popular right now. But that's another thing. Oh, and the other thing that we wanted to mention is we still dealing with the shit that they're not getting paid. Something that always bothers me when it comes to these issues, these people are not getting paid. So we have an issue with that. Yeah. They're not getting paid. So we need to fix that. We need to make changes to that. They're not getting paid right now, y'all. So veterans not getting paid. Shit, service members not getting paid while serving is a big factor and a big issue when it comes to stuff that we need to make sure that we are doing better with, I would say, because right now we're not doing too well. Okay, so we have this, and this was for the state of Missouri. Now we will go to the state of Montana. Keep in mind, we won't be going for too long on this stream, but we will add stuff. Just, this one's gonna be short because we do have work next week. We will most likely not have a veterans workshop. If we do, it'll probably be an impromptu one on my phone. Just quick discussion, nothing out of the ordinary. Since I won't be at home and I won't have the ability to have my PC on me. So this is going to be something where we're going to do the workshop, but it's going to be on my phone. It's just going to be a quick chit chat like we've been doing with the check-ins, the veteran check-ins. We'll do it that way because we'll be most likely driving or on the way somewhere. So we won't be able to actually have this to continue to work on the spreadsheet. So we'll take on this as best we can. But okay, so now we are with the state of Montana. So this one is simple because it has like a veteran program, disabled veteran program. The residential real property of a qualified veteran or a qualified veteran spouse is eligible to receive a tax reduction as provided in 15.032. Okay. So property qualifying under subsection 1 and owned by a qualified veteran is taxed at the rate provided in 15-6-134 multiplied by a percentage figured based on the applicant's qualifying income. Oh, this one is one of those. So the state of Montana is a income-based taxation on how much you make is the percentage that you get. Is taxed at the rate provided multiplied by a percentage figure based on the applicant's qualifying income. Okay. So the income. If you're single and you make 0 to, you get multiplied 0. So if it's higher, if it's income, married couple, head of household makes that much, 50%. For a surviving spouse who owns property qualifying under subsection, the property is taxed at the rate established. Income. The property tax exemption under this section remains in effect as long as the qualifying income requirements are met and the property is a primary residence owned and occupied by the veteran, or if the veteran is deceased by the veteran's spouse and the spouse. Is the owner and occupant of the house, is unmarried, and has obtained from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs a letter indicating that the veteran was rated 100% disabled or was paid at the 100% disabled rate by the VA. So basically with this one, it is if you are 100% permanent in total or you were TDIU being paid at that rate, you have that. So this at least gets updated yearly. If the adjustment results in a decrease in qualifying income levels from the... So basically it goes off of the pay that you earn in the state. So the more you earn, the more the percentage. So basically the higher it goes, that's crazy. See what I'm saying? That is crazy. So here the exemption varies by income. Give me 1 second. Be right back. All right, we are back. So this is for the state of Montana. This is how we're gonna just place it on there. So that's plain and simple. Depending on how much you make is the main factor here. So it's not a big change, it's not drastic, but it's basically like, hey, this is how much you make, this is what you're going off of, this is how it's gonna be. So keep that in mind when it comes to that. But this is the information that's there. That's what we'll use. That's what we go off of. We'll use that way. So let's add this link. So when I click off of it, it changes it. So copy this. State of Montana. Tax exemption, and this would just be income determines tax exemption. So that way that one is clarified and it's on there. So we have done, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still got a whole bunch to go. We were gonna do the M's. We got more M's next week. Let's see if we could just look into what Nebraska has, and then after that we might. So we'll just do Nebraska, and then from there we'll just continue on. We'll end it there after Nebraska, and then we got some work we got to do. Got to paper some reading and do that. Do some homework, and then we might jump back on later tonight, just to work on stuff. But this one, that might be on the gaming channel, so that we do updates to the stream, just adding buttons, widgets, and stuff like that to control more efficiently stream and start adding to the bot, so that it answers more questions and stuff like that. We will be adding that to the bot so that way it has information for each state. So I think that's something. Let me just write that down. Because I'm not going to be having a link, but then the thing is this will be something, this worksheet we will eventually, with time, we have this, and we will see if we can just link all of this information and have it as separate tabs for it, so that way it's down the line, it's like you don't have to search for all of this. If you're looking for a certain specific state, hey, state of Alabama, you click on this tab and it'll have everything formulated for there. We'll try to add pictures with time. Like I said, this is while doing a master's degree. Takes time. It's not as simple to do. It's not as simple to get stuff done while taking care of family and trying to create content. So trying to work everything in together. Over the summer, when there's no class time and there's a pause, that's when I'll probably be able to flush out a bunch more stuff. But like I said, taking it as we go. We have time. There's no rush to this. We'll just continue to try to give people information as best we can. Okay, so state of Nebraska, we were able to find a document. And this is the Nebraska homestead exemption. So this is for filing after. So this form was basically March of 2022. So it's most recent you can find. Has a breakdown, pretty decent sized form. 14 pages, but okay, let's see. The Nebraska Homestead Exemption Program is a property tax relief program for 6 categories of homeowners. Veterans totally disabled by non-service connected accident or illness. Qualified disabled individuals, qualified totally disabled veterans and their surviving spouses, veterans whose home was substantially contributed to by the Department of Veteran Affairs and their surviving spouse, which they mean is one of those specially adapted houses that is there and is a part of that. There are income limits. There are income limits and homestead value requirements for categories 1, 2, 3, and 6. So individuals who have a developmental disability, qualified disabled, veteran totally disabled by non-service connected accident or illness, and persons over age 35. The state of Nebraska reimburses counties and other governmental subdivisions for a reduction in tax revenue as a result of approved homestead exemptions. So these are deductible medical and dental expenses. You got homestead, household income, filing status, owner occupant, qualified disabled individuals, homestead exemption, and then the timelines, categories, persons over age 65. What's the maximum you can be exempt? All that other stuff is added on there. So that's a plus, I would say. Okay, so where were we when it comes to homestead? A homestead is a residence or a mobile to 1 acre of land surrounding it, actually occupied by a person who is the owner. Property held in the name of entity such as corporation, natural disaster. What does it say how much they... as total of the previous year's federal adjusted gross income or retirement income that was not included as taxable. Status. Homestead exemption timeline. Homestead exemption categories. Okay, so for veterans, you have veterans totally disabled by non-service connected. So basically, if you are not 100% P&T but are still disabled, you fall under it. Veterans totally disabled, that's P&T and their surviving spouse. Veteran whose home was contributed to by the VA. So basically any specially adapted, which sometimes happens with the special monthly compensation brackets. If you fall under that and your house was adapted to accommodate you in your living, sometimes it's like wheelchairs or like ramps being created on your house. The VA does take care of that. So that's where those people will fall under. So gives an overview of the requirements for each category. So for veterans totally disabled, ownership and occupancy, yes, forms. So category 1. So we would look at category 2, 4, and 5. Here we go. Qualified totally disabled veterans and their surviving spouses, categories 2, 4, and 5. Regulation there. A wartime veteran totally disabled by a non-service connected illness or accident, category 2. The veteran must also be an owner of a homestead, own and occupy the homestead, have qualifying household income, file for income statement. A veteran receiving compensation from the U.S. VA because of a 100% disability that was service connected, this homestead is 100% exempt regardless of homestead value and income level. Again, if you fall under, let's go back up, qualified, totally disabled veteran and their surviving spouse. So if you are 100% P&T, you are completely exempt. The veteran must be an overall homestead, own and occupy the homestead, January 1 through 15. So at least it seems like you have to at least live in the homestead for at least 6 months out of the year. So keep in mind that sometimes people purchase townhomes that is 2 houses. If you live in one side and another person lives on the other one, that is still your property. It counts as one property. But make sure you check your taxes and make sure you speak to an accountant or your state assessor to make sure that is correct. Your surviving spouse of a homestead, relative or married spouse. Everyone who died because of service, whose death while on active duty, a serviceman who died while on active duty, but don't receive compensation for the. So the homestead exemption is available to the unremarried surviving spouse or a surviving spouse who remarries after attaining the age of 57. So this is a different one because this basically states that if you are unremarried and under the age of 57, you get to keep the no property taxes. If you remarry, you can accept that at 57, but that's where it's just like you gotta look into what that information is because it's like, do you have to keep that documentation till after you're 57 to then claim like, hey, I should be property exempt, or how does that exactly work? Paraplegic, veteran, or multiple amputee whose home is substantially contributed by the VA. This homestead is 100% exempt regardless of homestead value and income level. The veteran also, same thing. For categories 4 and 5, the homestead is 100% exempt regardless of homestead value and the owner's income level. 2, 3, and 6, subject to change. So the maximum of the percentage of exemptions relates to the set value of the homestead. The maximum exempted amount is the taxable value of the homestead up to 50,000 or 120% of the county's average assessed value of single-family residential property, whichever is greater. So then it goes into the criteria of depending what your maximum amount you can receive and you can't receive, depending on the value of the home. But as it already states, if for categories 4 and 5, the homestead is 100% exempt regardless of homestead value and the owner's income level. Like I said, this is for 2, 4, and 5 that falls under. So we have that for the state of Nebraska. So you are basically 100%. It has its stipulations. That's the one thing. Exemptions, and for this one, it would be it would basically be if you're 100% at 100% and do I have anything for 100% PNT? VA contributed. Income and varies exemption. So 100% exempt if 100% PNT and the VA contributed to your homestead. income varies exemption, income varied exemption for anyone else, basically. So we have that. This isn't the law like the other ones we've had, but this is the application form that breaks it down and gives you that info straight off the bat, so that you have that information and it shows up for you. So that way you have it there. Yeah. Okay. So this will conclude our workshop for today. Like I said, if you find this information handy or it's good, make sure to pass it along to any other veterans that you know that may reside in these states, so that they have that information. Even if it's for active duty personnel, you can pass this along, have them check the information out, see if it qualifies for them, and that way they can possibly inquire to see if while on active duty they can also get these property tax exemptions. These right now is just looking at the veteran. We will end up looking at the active duty down the road to try to add more to that, because basically if you're on active duty you will become a veteran at some point. So this is information that's good to know, and at least keep in the back of your mind, that you at least acknowledge and know that, hey, there's state property tax exemption. So when I decide to exit the military, I know where I can go, what states benefits are here. And that's why we're trying to make this all around spreadsheet that will allow you to visibly see what look like. We're working on apprenticeships, like with jobs, to see what's there, all that information there, so you can just find it readily in one site. If you need any veteran affairs websites, you need to contact any of those senators or representatives. If you need to find locations for VA health locations, emergency care or urgent care, you would just click on this and it will direct you at least to that. So all you have to do is like find the location or put the location within there, and it'll look for it because it's already on the state. Memorials, cemeteries, working on that to put all of that for each state. So we'll just be going down the line and start doing that also. But I appreciate everybody that's tuned in, stopped by. We covered the states of Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, and Nebraska for this week. Next week, we will not be having a veterans workshop. If we do, it'll just be over the phone, quick something, not working on anything specific. And then we will follow up with Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, and New York. So that way people obtain that information, and we will keep on providing people with that info as we go till we'll complete all of it. And then from there, we might start on a different bracket and look at different information that may assist veterans as we go and we continue to formulate this worksheet. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good rest of y'all week. Have a great week for Easter. Have a great Easter. Make sure y'all take care of each other, love on each other, dress nice, have a good time. We will catch y'all not next week, but the week after. So that would be March 7th will be our next Veterans Workshop. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Just Cruise, signing out. Peace.